What would you do if the one person you trusted more than anyone in the world was living a complete lie? No. I never thought be the guy sitting in a dimly lit parking garage at 2 a.m., watching a name on my phone screen, a name that was in T-mine light up my wife's car with a call. The night everything broke was a Tuesday. It was supposed to be ordinary. But as I watched her silhouette laugh, her head tilted back in a way she used to do with me, the glowing screen of her phone cast a long, sharp shadow that cut my world in two. I couldn't hear her words, but I could feel them. They were the kind of words that unravel a decade of marriage in a single, silent moment. She ended the call, and for a second, just a second, she looked around the empty garage, her smile gone, replaced by something I'd never seen before, chilling emptiness. That was the moment I knew. The woman I loved was a stranger, and I was about to follow her down a rabbit hole I was terrified I'd never come back from. If you genuinely enjoy our stories, please subscribe to the channel. Tell us where you're from and what time it is right now. It's always fascinating to know how far our story flows. For weeks, something had been off. It started subtly. Sarah, my wife of 10 years, became surgically attached to her phone. It was a new limb, always angled away from me, its screen a fortress I couldn't breach. She'd laugh at texts in the kitchen, and when I'd walk in, the phone would go dark, her smile vanishing as if it were a ghost. "Just a meme from my sister," she'd say, her voice a little too bright. Then came the late nights at the office. Sarah was a high-powered attorney in a downtown Chicago firm on Wacker Drive. Long hours weren't unusual, but this was different. She'd come home smelling of a perfume that wasn't hers and a faint, lingering scent of expensive whiskey, a drink she never touched. I'd find receipts crumpled in the pockets of her coat dinners, for two at Gibson S Bar and Steakhouse on Rush Street, a place we only went for anniversaries. The dates on the receipts were always nights she was stuck in a deposition. The lies were stacking up like bricks, building a wall between us. She became cold, almost clinical. Our conversations were interrogations. "Why are you asking so many questions, Mark?" she'd snap, her eyes like chips of ice. "Don't you trust me?" The irony was a punch to the gut. The villains, her and whoever this phantom was, felt untouchable, wrapped in a cloak of arrogance. They were living their thrilling secret life, while I was the fool left to pick up the pieces of our shattered reality. The emotional toll was crushing. One night, I found myself on our bathroom floor, the cold tile a stark contrast to the burning humiliation in my chest. I was a ghost in my own home, a silent observer to my wife's betrayal. That was the night the grief turned to ice. The broken man got up, and a strategist was born. I wasn't going to just leave. Oh no, that would be too easy. She had humiliated me, dismantled our life with casual cruelty. I decided then and there that I would orchestrate her downfall with the same meticulous precision. She used to plan her affairs. I started gathering proof. I installed a keylogger on her laptop, a machine I'd bought for her. The transcripts were a torrent of filth. I read every sordid detail of her encounters with Derek, a partner at her firm. They met at the Thompson Chicago, a boutique hotel on the Gold Coast. They talked about me. They laughed about me. Derek called me the pathetic husband. Sarah called me predictable. That word predictable became my fuel. I hired a private investigator, a grizzled ex-cop, who operated out of a small office in the Loop. He got me everything. Videos of them kissing in the hotel lobby. Videos of them stumbling out of a bar in River North, hands all over each other. Bank statements showing the gifts she bought him, a Rolex, weekend trips to Miami. I had it all. Perfect, undeniable mountain of evidence. My plan had two fronts, legal and social. Sarah's arrogance was her greatest weakness. She believed she was smarter than everyone, especially me. She didn't know I had a trust fund, a safety net my grandfather had set up years ago, which I never touched. I used it to hire the best divorce attorney in Chicago. We set the trap. We filed for divorce on the grounds of infidelity, timing it to freeze all our joint assets. Sarah was the primary breadwinner, and her income was about to be choked off. The social trap was more public, more brutal. Sarah was on the board of a major children's charity, a position she cherished for the social status it gave her. Their annual gala was in 2 weeks, a massive event at the Drake Hotel. It was the perfect stage. The day of the gala, I made my move. I had the pie serve Derek with a lawsuit for alienation of affection at his office. It was a bold, archaic legal move, but its purpose wasn't to win. It was to create chaos. It named him his position and his firm. It was a grenade tossed into his pristine professional life. That evening, I showed up at the Drake Hotel. I wasn't on the guest list, but I knew the event planner. I waited in the wings of the grand ballroom as Sarah took the stage to give her speech. She looked radiant in a shimmering gown, the picture of grace and compassion. She spoke about family, integrity, and the importance of protecting the innocent. The hypocrisy was breathtaking. As she finished to a wave of applause, I walked to the front of the room. A murmur went through the crowd. Sarah's face went pale. "Mark, what are you doing here?" she stammered into the microphone, her voice trembling. I didn't answer her. I looked out at the sea of Chicago's elite, her friends, her colleagues. "Before we continue," I said, my voice calm and steady, "I think there is something you all should know about the woman you reapplauding." I motioned to the event staff, and the large screens on either side of the stage, which had been showing the charity's logo, flickered to life. The first image was a photo of Sarah and Derek, locked in a passionate kiss in the Thompson Hotel lobby. Gasps rippled through the ballroom. The next was a screenshot of a text from Sarah to Derek. "He has no idea." So predictable. The final slide was a copy of the lawsuit filed against Derek that morning. The room was dead silent. As Sarah stood frozen, her face a mask of horror. Her carefully constructed world had been detonated in front of everyone she knew. She was ruined. Legally, she was trapped. The evidence was irrefutable. She lost her claim to my assets, and her own were tied up in litigation. Socially, she was a pariah. Out! The charity board removed her the next day. Her firm asked for her resignation. Derek's wife left him, and his career was in shambles. Right. I left the gala before the fallout fully erupted. I walked out into the cool Chicago night and didn't look back. There was no triumph, no satisfaction, just a vast, hollow emptiness. I had one, but I had lost everything in the process. Sometimes, late at night, I still trace the ghost of her smile in the empty space beside me in our bed. I wonder which was the bigger live, the life she was living, or the man she forced me to become. The end.